Ladies and gentlemen, good evening once more. Everything is timing and it's talk time with Tunde. And I'm going to say straight off the back, off the jump, there has never, in all my experience with boxing, with speaking, with having this platform, that I've gone into any type of public forum or anything, or just on the streets speaking with people, that goosebumps and pimples and shaking of all has attacked my body. I'm so it's like this episode. I just feel that it's so emotional. It's gonna be electric, and I'm looking forward to it. And it just makes you realize that anything is possible. Today's discussion is: are disabled people being excluded from society? And we have some illuminating stories in store for you. But as usual, we start off by playing a video which will really set the platform for today's show. Gary?
Tape na produção.
Oh, my goodness gracious me. My heart is pounding. There we have a beautiful, beautiful sister, Tatiana. I hope I've said that correctly. Who, as you can see, has a disability. But the whole story surrounding Tatiana is amazing. And we have a very, very good friend of Tatiana. Obviously, we know the subject today is disabled. How do we, are we, see, I'm even stuttering. Are disabled people being excluded from society? And I guess when we hear this story, other than what Tatiana has been through, how her life has been moving forward in this society. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you a great friend of Tatiana. I keep on telling everyone I'm getting nervous. I'm like, this is not normal for Tunde Ajayi to get nervous. I'm nervous. I'm just being real. You know me, like I always just talk. I told you when you listen to me, don't be expecting a Cambridge graduate. Sometimes or Harvard student. Sometimes the road mentality, that environment which I came from, comes out in my speech. So let me not carry on. Let me introduce to you a great friend of Tatiana, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Kemi. Gary.
Hi.
Good evening.
Hello,
Good evening.
how are you?
Very nice to meet you.
You too.
I've heard a lot of good things about yourself, and what a inspirational video that we've just seen there. A 60-second clip, but I've no doubt, the whole thing around this and how Tatiana is dealing with this situation is a story that everybody should hear. Hence why I've got you here, and I feel, this is our way of letting people share their own stories. So fire away. I won't carry on talking. I Again, this is unscripted, Kevin. So there's no script. It's just this is a real live show, and let's go. Let's take it away. Really start from the beginning because I want to hear everything. I want to hear how this happened, how this young lady managed to be in this situation.
Where we are today.
Go ahead,
So,
Kevin. Go ahead.
Tatiana is a formidable character. She loves dance. Dance is life. So she works as she's a manager in a famous steak restaurant in the UK, the best.
Plug.
I'm not plugging because we're not playing. No, I'm joking. But honestly, like this time last year, she was on a cruise ship in the middle of the Caribbean. It was a dance cruise, so bachata, salsa, merengue, and her love is kizomba. So she came back from that, and then she had a trip to Angola, which is the birthplace of kizomba, and she went to go and learn from the masters. And it was a trip that was meant to happen in 2020, and then, as you know, there was a pandemic and everything got pushed out. And so this is a trip she'd been waiting for years and years. And she went, she enjoyed it. She even ended up on Angolan TV dancing as well.
Wow.
And she came back into the swing of normal life. So for like the next 2.5 weeks, going back to work as normal. She's a very, very active girl. So always in the gym, always riding her bike, wherever she can. And so she rides her bike to work, and then she had a bike accident, and somebody sort of stepped out and she kind of like fell and hit the road. No car involvement or anything. And then she still went to work on that day. I think she was just running on adrenaline. And then sort of like after her shift, she sort of felt, now the muscle and the aching is coming in, and it's not, feeling too good. So I live not too far from her workplace. She came over to mine, stayed over. She seemed okay, but then seemed like she had to call in sick the next day because she wasn't 100%. And then the day after that, just to check that nothing was broken because she still wasn't improving, we went to hospital. We went to the Royal London Hospital, spent 8 hours in A&E, going from their urgent care in A&E. So you go there, you go to the first place, they're like, no, you need to be in urgent care. You go to urgent care, they're like, no, you need to be in A&E. And these buildings are like you have to like cross roads, like they're in separate parts, of the main street. And then, they do the triage. They kind of ask a few questions, and it's we're talking about the bike accident because that's what happened. That's why we were there. And so, then
sorry, Kimmy, is this after she come back from the holiday?
Angola. Yeah.
Okay.
And this is 2.5 weeks after she came back. That the bike accident occurred. And prior to that, everything was normal, fine. And then after the 8.5 hours, they did do an x-ray to check that nothing was broken, decided it wasn't, and then they gave some painkillers and, sent her on her merry way. And so she's still a bit sick, but then she seemed to improve, get better, back to like laughing, jubbly bubbly. And then she got worse again. And she suffers from migraines, so it's quite normal for her to want to be sort of like in a darked out room, just quiet, no noise around. And then not to get too personal, period started as well. So you're kind of lethargic and like all of this stuff. And then, the bike accident happened. But then it still wasn't improving. And so we called up 111 again, and they said they'll get a consultant to call. The consultant called, and then he was like, yeah, you should probably go to hospital just to check that, there wasn't concussion or nothing's happened with your head, because now her breathing's a bit labored and like she's speaking slowly and she's slurring. And then an ambulance comes, takes her away, blood pressure super duper low, like 77/40, which is basically almost not moving. We go to a different hospital this time because we did not want a repeat of last time. And then they go to take her for a brain scan. And then the doctor comes running up and he's like, have you been traveling anywhere recently? And like, well, last month she went to Angola. He's like, that explains that you have severe malaria.
Wow.
And we're like, oh, plot twist. Because I thought there was some internal like bleeding from the bike accident that hadn't been picked up. But we did so we're still like in debate about whether this bike accident was a blessing or, it disguised what was actually happening. And then after that point, it was just like straight up to ICU. You know, you have to leave the hospital, like they're very strict on visitation. And this was a Sunday night, by the way. And so it's like, go home, you can come back at 1 o'clock tomorrow, you can visit for an hour, and then you'd have to go. And we'll call you if anything goes wrong, but otherwise you can call us and we can give you updates. And so the next day in the morning, they're like, yeah, we've had to put a line in so that we can administer like more drugs. And then another few hours pass and they're like, we've had to put her in an induced coma. And it's like, don't panic, like this is just to you know, keep her stable, like it's just, you know, not routine, but just to allow us to do what we need to do to keep her safe. And for me personally, the week before in my church, somebody else had been in hospital and in an induced coma in the same hospital and the same ICU and had passed away. But this was an older lady and she'd been sick before, and this was different for Tatiana. Tatiana was absolutely fine prior to this. Like I thought, you know, the next day she was going to come home, and not realizing that it was very, very serious. So then on the Monday, when she was put into the coma, at the end of visitation, we were sent home at 7 o'clock. Again, you can call at any time. We won't call you unless something goes wrong. And then at 11 o'clock, they were like, yeah, you might want to come back to the hospital. It's taken a turn for the worse. We've put all the medication up to like maximum. There's pretty much nothing more we can do. And so all of her friends came to the hospital, and ICU is very strict about visitation. You can have 2 people for the whole time that you're there, unless it's end of life. And at this point, they thought she was either going to have a multi-organ failure or cardiac arrest. And the waiting room was just taken over by her friends. She's from Reunion Island, so her dad was, you know, thousands of miles away. And yeah, so we're in a prayerful sort of like mindset, like, and they keep reiterating to us that she's seriously ill. She's seriously ill. So at one point, my priest came down as well. And I think we were looking a bit too hopeful in the waiting room, to the point that the head nurse took the priest aside to explain to him to kind of manage our expectations about the fact that it's highly unlikely that she's going to survive.
Wow.
And it was the worst day. Like, it's just so solemn in that waiting room, and at that point they'd relaxed the rules so people could go in to say goodbye, so to speak, and the priest read her last rites. Tatiana is a fighter. So she held on that night, and the next night again she held on, and then in the daytime she seemed to improve, and then through the night she went downhill again, and they called us to the hospital. On the Thursday they said, look, she's on so much medication that we're going to issue a DNR. If her heart stops, we're not going to start it again. It's unethical to do something that you know is not going to work. Like, the amount of support she's on just to keep her at a stable-ish level, it's not going to work. And it's like, are you telling us to say goodbye again? We're like, we'll just take each moment as it comes. And it was truly each moment as it comes. At this point, she's on dialysis, she's on the ventilator, she's like swollen with the fluids that they put into her. And yeah, so Taki remained in the coma for 4 weeks. The medication that they use to sort of steady her blood pressure, what it does is it pulls the blood to your key organs. But in the process of doing that, it pulls away from your extremities. So this is the fingers, this is the toes. And so we noticed something happening, but the doctors are like, that is a tomorrow problem if we make it to tomorrow. Like, at the moment, we're just trying to keep her alive. And so she comes through it all and has to have the amputations of both legs and both arms.
My goodness. I mean, Kemi, I'm just listening to you. I can hear you reliving this. Carry on, sister.
And so we sort of know this is going to happen prior to her waking up. And obviously, when you wake up from a coma, you're very dazed, you've lost time, and you kind of don't know what's going on. And then also, there's a lot of pain. So she also had a tracheostomy, which is where they put a hole in your neck so that the ventilation goes straight into your windpipe. because when she was waking up from the coma, obviously if there's a tube down your throat, that's very uncomfortable. So, and even with that, there's like a sort of like balloon in there, which allows you to speak or not speak. And so it was hard to like communicate with her and to know she understood what was going on or what had happened. And the painkillers as well made her quite drowsy. So it's a case of the doctor's explaining it, but is she getting it? Does she know, what it means? And then it's also a case of, it's not really a choice as well. So it's not even like, we're telling you this is going to happen, are you okay with it? It's like, if we don't do it, you're going to die. So it's not a choice situation. This is what's going to happen, but this is your new normal, and trying to explain. And this is, as I said, someone who used to ride her bike everywhere. She's very active. Like, her job involves being on her feet for 11 hours a day, and she absolutely loves it. She just got promoted at work. Like, she lives in the gym. And I was very scared about explaining to her about what's happened, because this is a complete change of life. And it's different if you're a person that's already quite sedentary, like, you work from home, you sit on your desk all the time, get the bus everywhere, you drive your car everywhere. For a person who's like that versus a person who's actually very active and dances a life. So we conveyed it. Don't know if it came across before the amputation happened. And then even when it happened, you could tell she was still sort of in a dazed mindset, because like, I'd speak to her on the phone and the nurse would be holding the phone to her ear, and she told the nurse, "Oh, you don't need to hold it for me, I can hold it myself." And it's like, okay, she doesn't have it yet. And I don't know how to say it, until one day it just clicked, and she's like, "By the way, they've cut off my hands and feet." I'm like, okay.
Jesus.
Yeah. And then I always try to look for the positives in everything. So obviously now I'm like researching like crazy about amputation and learning everything I can about it. Seeing a case of another guy who had a quadruple amputation, and his wife was saying that he managed to keep one elbow, and that one elbow is his entire independence. And I'm like, oh, Tatiana kept 2 elbows and she kept 2 knees. This is going to make such a difference, because like, when you use prosthetic limbs, it takes 3 times the amount of cardiovascular energy to walk with an above knee amputation versus a below knee amputation. So I'm like, we're on the good side of this amputation. And it's not paralysis, like, she's going to actually be able to stand up and walk. But that's me being ableist, because I'm not in a position. And so, like, you want to encourage someone, like, don't worry, you're going to be able to do this. It's not the end of the world. But I can say it because I'm not in a situation, whereas she is. But she is, as I've said, absolutely amazing. She's very, very positive, like, understands that this is a second chance at life, because it's so very, very nearly was the end. So even when I tell the story to people and people are like, "Oh, that's so sad," I'm like, no, you don't understand. It's not sad. She's alive. Like, she was about to die, but she's alive. Like, she's alive. Like, we're in a good place. She's alive. Like,
just
you weren't in the waiting room. You weren't praying with us. You don't know where we were to where we've come. You're just seeing the after effects and feeling sorry, but we're not sorry. This is like, she's done this. Like, and then her having that mindset, because there's like this thing called a gratitude diary, where you wake up every day and you decide that, I'm going to write down 3 things that I'm grateful for.
Yes.
And you can choose to be in that mindset of life, or you can choose to be in the set of, oh, everything's going wrong. Like, I hate this job. I don't like this. So you choose every day which side you want to be on. So she's choosing positivity. Yes. And that's not to say that it's not hard.
Yes.
So Kathy can walk in prosthetic legs. However, not for a long time, and it's very painful sometimes, and it's arduous. And then even in the amputation rehabilitation unit where she's been recovering, she's the only quad amputee there. So while there are others that are dealing with things, she doesn't have hands. So others are in wheelchairs, and with wheelchairs you can wheel yourself about.
Yes.
And again, we're very grateful to the NHS, because through this journey, they've been there. Like, I can't imagine how this would have been in another country. Like, now you join Facebook groups and you see like people in America where their insurance is not going to cover their rehab, and how do you start life again? Whereas here we have that. So again, very positive and very grateful for that. But things like, because she can stand up, she won't get an electric wheelchair. She'll only get a manual one. But the problem is she doesn't have hands. So that means there's no reach. So it means leaning all the way to one side to wheel one wheel, and then to the other side to the other wheel to make one step. But she can stand and others can't. So you have to look at it holistically. But it does mean that when she's navigating London, she's navigating it from multiple aspects.
Yes.
So even though you can walk, London is a very fast-paced city. Like, people don't give you time, and nobody's looking down to see whether your legs are different from theirs. So in terms of like rushing, pushing, and where you would normally be able to put your hands out to break your fall and save your face, if you don't have tools, you can't do that. So that can be pretty scary. So it's almost safer to be in the wheelchair. But then when you're in the wheelchair, you get treated differently. Like, people look at you different. It's interesting. Kids will come and ask questions, whereas adults will stare, and some are subtle and some are like,
yeah.
You're like, are you going to say something? Or, hey, are we doing this?
And I guess this opens up the wider question on how she's been treated. But I don't want to cut you, but when I watch, I'm going to get Gary to play that 1 minute clip again. For me, for somebody, when I watched the video for the first time, I was in tears of sadness and tears of joy. As you said, for someone to have such a positive outlook after going through so much, it's just a testimony to Tatiana, and having friends like yourself also is key to help her go through this. But I just wanted to say that. Carry on, Kemi.
I think we have Tati here as well, ready to speak.
Yeah, well, listen, we've got the star of the moment, the actual superstar. And that's, ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you, you switch on your TV, you watch Marvel films, and you see Superman, Spider-Man, and all those kind of fake characters. But this is a real modern day superwoman. And I'm going to say it again, a modern day superwoman. And before we bring on Superwoman, we got to get a tea. We got to get a dress with a tea, because we got the cup tea. We got the cups. Don't worry, we got the cup. But we're gonna get a dress with a tea, the bright tea. Gary, play that clip one more time, just so the fight is right, just so Talk Time with Tunde listeners, viewers can actually see what this incredible person, human being, has had to deal with and be able to deal with it so positively. Gary.
Tape na produção.
I can see Tatiana again. I can see Tatiana. I'm calling her T. Sorry, I'm not. I'm just abbreviating the whole thing. It's just T. I can see T smiling in the background, and even me watching that video to see Superwoman Tatiana smiling through that. It just shows you. It just shows you that through adversity, with enough mental strength and belief, and just loving life itself, the fact that you're still breathing. I think it's just a wonderful thing. But without further ado, let me introduce everyone to the most special human being, woman that I have yet to see. She's still smiling right now. And Tatiana, welcome to Talk Time with Tunde. And you are such an amazing woman. And
thank you.
I said, when Leah told me about this story, I said, there's no way I'm not getting this incredible human being and her best friend on the show tonight. We're only 3 weeks in, so to have somebody, I've been begging people to come and tell their story for the last 2 weeks. But what a way to start our first visual broadcast with someone like yourself. How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you very much. So yes. So as Kemi explained all my story very well. Thank you, Kemi. Thank you. I could have done it better, you know. I couldn't do it better. I said, Kemi, you told my story because I don't think I will be able to do it because I can't even remember half of it. So yeah.
You were asleep for most of it.
I was asleep for quite a while and I was a bit like high. Yeah, so I couldn't remember much. So yeah, Kemi explained everything well. So yeah, thank you again.
Well, the first question is, how are you able to keep this positive mindset after being through so much?
I guess it's something I always have within me. So I'm always positive. I'm seeing always the good thing, even in a bad thing. So yes, this is something like I was always like that, always. So yeah, that's helped me a lot in this situation, and yeah, I'm strong, and I have great people around me. I'm really blessed and grateful that I have friends like Kemi, like all of my friends from work, all my friends from dancing. So all of those people around me like helped me a lot in my journey to recover. So yeah, I'm just blessed, and I'm lucky
Tell me something. Obviously, your trip to, what was the country you went to? Sorry, Angola. Yeah. Obviously, there are cases of malaria there. Prior to going to Angola, did you take any kind of, like I remember when I went to Nigeria, they offered me malaria tablets and stuff like, which I took. But I know there are so many people who are probably watching this show tonight who have traveled abroad and said, you know what, I'm not taking no tablets. I'll be okay. What is the situation for you? What did you take the tablets before you left, or did you just say, throw the dice and let's just take a chance?
So unfortunately, I didn't take any tablet, just because I was not aware that I have to take it, because on the website, on the Angola website, it just say like recommended, so it's not an obligation.
Yes.
So in my mind, I mean, I didn't know, but my friend told me that afterwards. So in my mind, you won't take it if it's not an obligation. You won't take it, and and I didn't know the consequences of this disease. Like I still didn't know that people. Well, I do know that people die from it, but like I don't know. I was just unaware of it, to be honest. That's all. And at that time as well, it was a lot about COVID. So yes. COVID was all over the place. We were so stressed to get our vaccine, to get our vaccine from there as well. The how do they call it? The flow test. Yes. So all of this were like everywhere. We were just so stressed about COVID, and we didn't think about malaria. And also because I went with a group of people, we were like 10, and only 2 people took the vaccine, the tablets, because they travel a lot in Africa, so they know about the danger of it. And all the rest of the group didn't know. So we didn't really know. That's it. It's not well known, and for me. So yeah.
What would your advice be to those, traveling to countries? Because I was supposed to go to Gambia, and also, there was told me about the malaria thing. The reason why I say it, because I just know how many people travel without taking, and like you said, nobody thinks it's going to happen to them.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks, so, what message would you have to anyone traveling?
Just make sure that you check online everything and ask people who just don't be scared to go on group, because nowadays on Facebook you can go on those group chat and then ask questions on those people who live there, who travel there, because we don't really know. I didn't know, and then so just check online, make sure that you take all the recommendation. If they say recommended, so just do it. Just do it. Even if they don't say obligation, just do it, because we never know. Also, I got the very severe malaria, because I think there is 5 types of malaria, and then the one I got was the deadliest one. So and people die all the time in malaria in Africa because of malaria. So just do your research properly and take your time, really.
But I think, I say it again, like there are things happen, and it's how you respond to things that happen. And I know that, I mean, there's a comment there from Vanessa Powell. She says she went to Gambia at Christmas and took nothing. So, one of the reasons why, again, I feel that, we wanted to have you on the show is because you're a light now. You can be a light, an example to many people. And just the way that you've dealt with this whole situation is a light, and moving forward to the more pressing question, which is how would you say that society as a whole has treated you? Because I mean, you've gone from this, well, you haven't gone from nothing. You probably are more energetic now and more bubbly than what you was before. But have you seen any change in the way people treat you?
Of course.
And yes, explain how you feel.
Of course. So first, because I was on a wheelchair for a bit, obviously for a while, and then obviously people look at me because on my wheelchair you can see clearly that I don't have legs and I don't have arms. So people will tend to look at me, and then so nothing much though, because they just look at me. That's it. And I don't really care what people say or like what they do. I don't care what people say and think about it, to be honest. And then so when it changed, it's when I have my legs. So asking me said like when I'm walking, nobody noticed me at all because I'm walking. I'm like I look normal. So but then this is the danger for me because also people doesn't look, they don't pay attention. So if they kind of like push me around, it's difficult because I still have my balance is not. I have good balance, but like still I'm still vulnerable. So this is the problem.
Yes, Gary. I believe I've been given a GoFundMe link for Tatiana. Please put that up because Tatiana, I want you to tell the audience about what kind of cost is involved to getting you the treatment that you need. And I mean, you obviously are not the only person in this situation, and how difficult it could be if you don't have money. The amount of money they're talking about, you need help. And so again, Gary, I don't know if it's up there. Have you put the link up there, Gary? Let me see if Gary's put the link up there. But what I would want to say, as a buffer, okay, Gary will put the link up. As a buffer, before the link is up, anybody, we got the super chats there. To differentiate the contribution to the show, to the contribution made to Tatiana, all I want you to do is put the Snapchat, I call it Snapchat, the super chat, and just put a T by the Snapchat. Anyone who wants to contribute to Tatiana and with her treatment, because I'm doing my bit to help. I feel that I have to do my bit to help you in this thing because it touched me so much, Tatiana. And so anyone, there is going to be a GoFundMe link, but anyone who could, just use the Snapchat, the super chat process, and just put a T with the donation, and I will make sure as soon as YouTube pay me, it's gonna be sent straight to your bank account. So just tell us about the kind of treatment that's needed and the cost, Tatiana.
So it's basically like regarding prosthetics, because my health is okay, but like obviously there is different type of prosthetics in the market. I still really don't know which one to take yet, because the prosthetic has to be talked with my prosthetist first. Yes. So it's like a journey basically. So I just need the best for me for my activity. So my activity will be like dancing, obviously, is the one thing that I want to do, and going back to the gym, and also like being able to like kind of like walk long distance and like be on my foot basically, and then so this is just for the legs part, and also now there is my arms. So my arms is a bit like I would like to have the Mayo arm, which is the arm that you can move the fingers.
Yes.
So this one costs a bit. I'm not sure,
But
Kevin,
please,
do you remember how much?
I want you to be specific, because
Yeah.
you know we got some people on there. When
Yeah,
you tell them a bit, they might be thinking £10 or £50. Let us know the cost. I want to know.
Okay.
I want to know the cost. So I'm putting in something.
So a basic myoelectric arm where you have a hand that can open and with my camera, a hand that can open and close, or you
Yes.
can actually pick things up and stuff. They start from 50k
Oh my
each.
God. Yes. So let me just cut you there, because money has not come easy. Leah O has made the second contribution. Because let me read the first contribution. God Music 210. Thank you for the 199. And let me tell you something. Nothing big. There's nothing too big and there's nothing too small.
Exactly.
Any contribution you can help our sister to today is much appreciated. Leah O T 49.99 is coming to you.
Thank
from
you,
Leah O. Bobby Wright, thank you for the 9.99. T for Tatiana, beautiful person and so positive. Rachel Chigozi, 50. It's not Naira. I just want people to understand. It's not Naira. It's £50 UK sterling. T, beautiful on the inside and out. Such a inspiration. Sorry, carry on, Tatiana. I'm going to be interrupting you as money comes in, because you know, money is not easy nowadays. And let me just say, I'm not pressing nothing, but I am giving you £200 out of my own pocket. And don't be thinking anybody's rich, because I'm not rich. I don't even know how I'm going to pay my rent this month. But I'm wiring £200 to you.
Thank you so much. Honestly, everything helps.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Carry on. So
thank you,
everything helps. So yeah, that's a basic electrical arm. They start at 50k each. With the legs are less expensive.
You say 50,000?
Yes.
Each?
Yeah, for the basic one.
100,000 just for the two arms, yeah? To the two arms.
So yeah. So the NHS have provided an arm at the moment. It's called a Dragon. And
let me get it to show you.
Yes.
Where is it? Let me get the arm.
Show us the arm.
Where's my arm?
This is beautiful. This is beautiful.
This one, yeah.
Tatiana said, "Where's my arm?"
Oh, this is my carer. Say hi.
Oh, who's that?
You don't want to be. Look, say hi.
Who is this?
My carer.
Oh, your carer.
Yeah.
Good evening, carer. Listen, God bless you as well for looking after Tatiana. Listen, man, we need more people like you in the world. So thank you very much for looking after our sister. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Let me show them my arms.
Okay.
Let me put it on. Go. Here.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So that one was, let me get this right. That one was donated by the NHS.
Yes.
And so
what that does is it gives reach. So you know the example I gave of wheeling the manual wheelchair like this and like this. Now it can be done upright because there's reach with those arms. Yes. It can push a door, it can pull a door, it can, open things that require that sort of grip. But you can't pick stuff up with it. You can't.
That's going there. This is positivity at its apex. Listen, all
the make is for me too. For my hair.
Man, this is amazing. This is amazing.
So yeah, if anyone is like very creative in terms of like inventing things and solving issues and problems, that's very helpful as well. So that is a cone with a comb attached to it, so that she can put that in and have the reach to get to her hair. So
So we're on 100k at the moment. I believe.
Yeah, that's for two arms. And then with the legs are between 20 to 30k each. And this is for a basic leg. If you want silicone on it and you want it to look like a leg, it goes up in price. If you want it to be waterproof, it goes up in price. Then there are different legs that have ankles, because you don't realize how much you need your ankles until you don't have ankles. And you've got to be very careful about how you do certain things, because you don't have that flexibility anymore. So
yes.
So true.
So I mean, one of the question, I don't know if I've already asked it, I may be going around, But how do you manage to stay so positive, Tatiana? How do you manage? Because I mean, there are people on here with 2 arms and with 2 legs, and they're complaining. They're miserable. And so for someone who's been in a situation and to still have that smile and that bounce and that positivity, where does that come from? Is there a root, or is it something that you've just developed?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, it was really hard, obviously, the beginning. But I still keep positive, and like now I'm trying to every day when I wake up, I'm just saying like I'm grateful for everything I have. Honestly, I'm grateful. I say thank you for everything I have. I say thank you for my friend. I say thank you. I got this house. I'm thankful that I have those people around me who help me like getting through everything I've been through. And then yeah, thanks to like I'm just grateful, and just doing that, and thanks to everything, like it makes me happy and it keeps me going, because I'm also happy that I have another chance to life. Like you don't know. You don't realize, because when people told you that you need to enjoy your life, okay, you heard this sentence many times, you need to enjoy your life, but you don't know the real meaning of it until you almost die. Because I almost died, like and I didn't realize I was almost. And then when Kemi is telling me like what I've been through, I was in a coma, I just realized that I was not enjoying my life. I had a good life. I'm not gonna lie. My life was good, really good. But then like I realized that my friend make me realize that my friend is everything, and I love them, and I didn't really like show them how much I love them. And then now I have a chance to show them again. And everything I do it 100%. Even if I'm not feeling 100%, I'm going to try to make it 100%. And I think this is like the mentality I am right now. Like I'm just go for it. Try. I just try. That's it. Even if I know I'm not going to get it. No, not even if I know I'm going to get it, but it's just gonna take some time. I know I'm going to get through this. I know I'm going to dance again. I know I'm going to go to the gym. I'm not going to travel. I know that. I know it's gonna be a long journey, but I know I'm going to get there. And this is what pushed me, and I'm going through this.
Oh my goodness, greatness. My mastery, before I start busting out on tears on the big platform. Because I'm a bit emotional. I'm not like Spencer. Spencer's crying every second, but I mean, listen, if any tears that come from me would just be tears of joy for just hearing your outlook and your positivity and just the way you're looking at the future. And counting your blessings every day. My mastery, thank you. T, love light, love light to you, keep shining. She's donated £19.99 again. We got to get this 50,000 quickly. If GoFund's not the one, you just Snapchat. This show is dedicated fully. All contributions after YouTube take their percentage is going to Tatiana this evening.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Oh, also, I have Instagram. Follow me on Instagram.
Yes, we're gonna come on to that. Don't worry, we ain't finished. The longer we stay on, the more money we get. Don't worry.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry. Mary Onye Nesu Siso. Look at me, I'm talking like I'm not Nigerian. Pronounce it, give me.
Onyenusi.
There you go. I know Leah's gonna be angry at me and Rachel. But anyway, I think that's mommy who has donated that. How do you know? She ain't used to the Snapchat process yet. But £50, same way. Tremendous blessing.
Thank you.
Like when Tatiana was in the coma, the prayer circles. So Leah, her family, her mum's prayer groups are praying here. My mum had prayer groups in Nigeria praying. My Filipino friend had her Filipino family praying. Like the amount of prayer groups that were happening all over the world, like the support, just praying for her to like make it through was insane and humbling and touching and just like incredible.
And this shows you, believe me, collective prayer is powerful.
Very, very, very
Collective prayer is powerful, because if you listen to what Kemi said at the beginning, the pastor was already around the bed, ready to, say the last words. And through the power of prayer, we see Tatiana here today, smiling, laughing, being positive. So please, prayer. When you hear someone say they're praying for you, that's serious. It's a very serious thing. So, Gary, the man behind the cam, the one, Mr. Stamina for Sale, has just donated to the GoFundMe.
Thank you so much.
Gary says,
the man behind the cam. Thanks.
And Gary's just had a newborn child, so he says that your positivity is incredible, and you are a credit to the community. Gary Blake, the man behind the cam. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
It's touching. Videos of views. There's some more Snapchat here. Joe Barrow, thank you for the £10.
Thank you.
Keep up the positivity. Tatiana, blessings from Team Stamina for Sale. These are all people that regularly join us. And as I say, this is only the 3rd episode of this, because people's used to me screaming boxing every 2 seconds. But I just felt that this is something. There's so much people with stories that others need to hear, whether it's as a warning or whether it's to let them know that someone's going through the same thing they're going through. Marcia Lawrence, she said there is power in the word of God. It's facts. Coming from anywhere. You've heard it. Filipino prayer, Nigerian prayer, British prayer. It doesn't matter. Prayer is from the one God. And we thank you. Listen, it seems almost, I don't really even, there's not really a situation where I feel, unless you want to say, do you feel excluded in any way? I personally, before you even answer, say, you are not allowing people to exclude you. But if there is any way you feel that, then I feel that this is the time to talk about it, because it's your platform, it's your stage. And if you feel that there's anything that could be done better to deal with people that have had this or been through the same stories or incidents as you, then talk your truth now.
So for me, it's mainly like, because I like going to the restaurant and I can eat always. We like it. I like it. And then the only issue is like there is not suitable disabled toilet sometimes, and sometimes there is no disabled toilet at all. And this is like this is not thank you. See you. Sorry, my camera left. It's leaving. So yes, the toilet thing is one thing that can stop a lot of people like not going to the restaurant, because I was reading some stuff online and like I think I told you it's like one of 5 people are disabled.
Yes.
So some of us disabled people don't want to go out because there is no toilet. The toilet is a big issue for me. Like it has to be like accessible, because I have no arms. So which is hard for me to like getting sitting down, then like this kind of thing. So the toilet is not like really suitable, and if they are sometimes like poorly accessible. Like we saw like there is so many things missing. So yes, and then sorry.
I said we've seen some things.
Oh yeah, we saw. And
I was reading some articles, and it seems to be a common thing, that with people with disabilities are not getting the services they need, even like with transport. Lowering the transport bus ticket is not helping them get to the bus station. And so there are a lot of areas which, we feel that we need help. But that story is very, very key with the toilet. So anyone in the restaurants, what have you, Tatiana and Kemi like to go to restaurants. So please, we need some form of accessibility, which makes it easier.
So some places have disabled toilets. One of the things that you'll see in a disabled toilet is a red cord. This cord is supposed to go all the way down to the floor. The idea of it is that if you have a fall, you can pull it and you can get help. So many places wrap the cord around something so it's out of the way, which defeats the purpose of having it. Or the disabled toilet is also a baby changing toilet, which is fine, but not when it's blocking the toilet or blocking the entry,
Mhm.
or you're unable to lock the little things. I say little things, they're big things. Or you have a hand dryer, but it's up there, so you can't reach it. Like things that don't make sense. It's like, okay,
Yes.
so there's a toilet there, it's fine. Or we have other restaurants that all the toilets are downstairs. So it's one thing not having a disabled one, and Tati has legs, so Tati can stand. But then if the disabled toilet is downstairs and there's not disabled toilet, any toilet is downstairs and there's no lift. So it's not only do you not have a disabled one, you don't even have one that's on the same level at least. So if you want to try and maneuver it, it's possible.
Yes.
So
yes.
We don't drink at all when we go to the restaurant and there is like toilet downstairs. No drinking. Just eating.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Well, listen, your story has, and if there's anything more, please let us know. But
so transport in London, I think it's pretty good compared to other places around the world and around England. Not every station is accessible, but the tube map shows you which ones are and aren't. So you can plan your journey based on that. If you're on the journey planner, either on Google Maps or on TfL, you can select a journey that is wheelchair accessible. So it will give you the route, normally a bus route, because all the trains are not accessible. The Elizabeth line is amazing because it mostly
it's the best thing ever. Elizabeth line
it's got wide doors, it's got lifts on every station. But then there are older stations like, I don't know, Sydenham, where even though it's not a platform, it's not level, there's a ramp. But this is a situation where the first station you get in, you go tell them, and they have to call the other station. They go put you on a certain door, coordinate, so that by the time you reach the next station, you can come off. Again, you still have people not waiting. You have, even on the buses, there's an alarm that tells you that the wheelchair ramp is coming out, and people will stay in the wheelchair space. Or if there's a buggy in this space, it says on the bus that priority is wheelchair because you can fold a buggy. So I have a 6-year-old daughter. So when I was buying my buggy, I knew I was in London. So I was looking at one that could fold up easily because I've had to, carry it up and down the stairs, carry it on the bus, fold it at the last minute. And a lot of people don't take that approach. So you'll have big buggies. And it might mean that they need to get off the bus to let a wheelchair on.
Yes.
There's a lot of puffing and puffing about that. But it's like, I'm sorry that my lack of legs and arms is an inconvenience to you. But it does say it. We've had drivers say, I can't tell them to get off. And it's like, you're supposed to tell them. It's not supposed to be me having to now go on and say, sorry, do you mind making space? Like,
they have a button to press on.
We found out, there's a button that you press that says, please make way for the wheelchair. We're like, why have they not been using it?
There is a button for it.
Well, there's definitely a lot of room for improvement on the transport. Leah O has now donated Mummy's £50. Tati, you are an inspiration and a superwoman. So I told you, it's either before or after. It's either Superwoman Tati or Tatiana Superwoman. One of the two, but Superwoman has got to be in there. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an absolute pleasure. And let me just say, everybody needs a friend like Kemi. If you don't have a friend like Kemi, you ain't got a friend. Because I can see and hear that you've been such a support to your friend, and it is motivational, and I take my hat off to both of you. Obviously, Tatiana, you are the number one, but it also takes, at times when people can go through certain things in life, and the people that you thought were there for you end up running away and leaving you. So to have somebody so supportive of what you're going through, but just thank God, and God bless you, Kemi. Wishing you all nothing but the best in life. And you're a wonderful person as well, man. I've got so much respect for you, and the way you have supported Tatiana is incredible. Tatiana, the woman of the moment, the superwoman of the moment. I don't want to see nobody go out into the world tomorrow who has full health, full limbs, arms, and what have you, little silly little man problems or woman problems, and you're down. here is an example of someone who really is happy and grateful for an opportunity to have life.
I'm going to figure out one more time, actually. So at the ARU, which is the Amputation Rehabilitation Unit, as I said, she's the only quad amputee. And so there's a turnover of people. So somebody will come in, like they're newly dealing with the amputation, like they've just lost the leg. And this is a whole new way of life. They don't know if they're going to. And then they see Tati and they're like, okay.
Yes.
Or somebody else comes in and they've just lost an arm and a leg. And it's like, what is life going to look like? And then they see Tati and they're like, okay. And like just her being there and them seeing it gives them hope. Like, she's doing it. And she has less limbs than I do. And she's still walking around like a sunshine. So, yeah. So,
it's true, because usually when there is a new patient and they are a bit down, they come to me, the therapist, and say, oh, you should talk to this person or just say hi, because they are really down. And I think seeing you will give them hope. And this is something like I think I give to people in the rehab. It's like hope to like not giving up on life, simply like that, because they think that their life is gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard, of course. It's gonna be hard. It's hard, but like you can deal with it. Like you can do it. You can do it. Like you can do it. It's not, you're not dead. You are still alive. You have a chance. So let's just take the chance and just do it. Just do something. Don't give up.
What an amazing way to end this section of Talk Time with Tunde. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, let me introduce and sign off the one and only tremendous superwoman Tatiana, and the greatest friend anyone can ever ask for, Kemi. Thank you very much for joining us.
Follow her on Instagram at Bionic Tati.
Yep.
There you go. Say that again. And Gary, see if you can put that up there. Get Tatiana's Instagram page up there.
There's a typo, Tati, at Bionic Tati.
Oh no, I read it wrong. Oh my God. Wait, how do you change it again? Wait, I did it. Wait, edit here. Oh my God, really? Like I
the smile is special. Anyway, Tatiana, Kemi, thank you for joining us.
There you go. Boom. Bionic Tati, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's up there. It's right. There you go.
Thank you.
Shameless self-promotion. If you like cakes, at By Kemi. That's me.
Yeah, everyone's getting a plug. And we're not even paying. So everybody's getting a plug this evening.
Yep.
This is just it's wonderful. And I hope
thank you very much, Tunde.
You know, you've freed something within yourself, being able to share your story, because many people need to hear these kind of things. You know, and this is what this platform was set up for, not just boxing, but life and showing people's life experiences and what they have to do.
I can box too.
You can box. Yeah. Don't worry. Come down to the gym. We'll sort it out. We got to get you tickets for the next fight, 1,000,000%. And I will speak to Frank Warren, the promoter, that we can deal with your disability and get someone to, chaperone you around the venue. The next big show is Joe Joyce against Zhang. I have a young boy making his second professional fight, and we would love to have you there, both of you there. So we'll get that cracking.
Sorry, I have to say Leah before yeah, and Leah.
Okay. The advertising will go on. All right. Good night.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. And thank you everyone that's donated. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh my goodness, greatness. Not gracious. Oh my goodness, greatness. Moving on. This is incredible. We could have just had the show just on that. It's one of those ones. But, we continue with the second part of the show. Are the disabled being excluded from society? And really, we're giving people an opportunity to speak about things that they are going through, things that they experience. And they may not feel like they're being excluded, but I think it's more about the story. It's more about showing people that they're not the only ones. They're not the only ones walking a particular journey on their own. There's others. So I'm gonna ask Gary to play the next clip, which is dealing with autism and parents who have children who are autistic, or even adults who are autistic themselves. Are they being excluded from society? What can we do as a society to make things better for them? So Gary, let's play the first clip. I think it's the first of two.
Sorry to cut you. And not just that, we obviously cater for people that might suffer from agoraphobia, who can't be in large surroundings.
Yes.
We cater for people that might have autism, especially young kids who are so used to, having a routine,
yes.
Repetitive routine. So being somewhere new for them, where there's a large crowd, can be daunting.
Touching your child.
So yeah, of course. And part of the reason why I created this, my son himself is diagnosed with autism. So I was looking for a way to take him out of the situation whereby going into a shop, seeing different faces, this is not things that they're used to, and it makes them panic, and therefore it's really difficult to deal with children with autism if you don't have, structure in place. So something like this, and we're going to create another one which has a lot more lights, as we know. Kids with autistic kids like lights and sensory stuff, be able to feel and touch. So we got all of that in plan.
It's coming. My heart just flutters when I hear my cousin speak, and the possibilities of what we're doing, and we're gonna do it. There's no doubt in my mind. Everything started with a dream for myself, and we've started, and we ain't gonna stop. The whole thing is to inspire people in our community and really give them an option. And yeah, now we're gonna get a haircut. Man, Kuta, I read it. I read what you're saying. But just to reiterate what my cousin was saying, and his son has autism, and just to show people that we've been on this journey for a hot minute. You see my afro there back in the day, and we've always wanted to help people with certain disabilities. The bus was actually one of the main motivations and inspiration to having the bus and trademarking the fact, which Eddie's going to tell you about all of that. It's because there wasn't services. There's not enough services, for people, autistic people, for many other people, for them to really operate in society. So without further ado, I'm going to bring my cousin, who is the mastermind behind the bus. I just backed him because I've always wanted to do something in the car, and just explain about the whole autism, how children and how adults are treated. Is there anything better we can do? What kind of services we need to make this a balanced society? Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you Mr. Stamina for Hair. And I don't like the way you try and bite by his glasses. But yeah, Ed, again, another parent. You're another parent who has an autism. And I didn't realize how many parents have children suffering from autism. I don't know if it's suffering is the right word. You're on mute at the moment. Ed, you need to unmute yourself.
It's on mute.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Well, I can hear you. Is that right, Gary? Gary? Yeah, Gary said it's okay. Yeah, I didn't realize how many parents are affected by autism, but on your kind of platform where you deal with cutting hair, what kind of difference did you want to make? Because you felt there was a certain exclusion for children that were autistic for a simple thing like getting their hair cut.
Yeah, firstly, I want to give a shout out to Tatiana. Beautiful story. Beautiful person. Yes, and also to a lot of the mothers with autistic children. They go through a lot when they attend barber shops, and I noticed that even with my own son, it was an issue for the barbers to deal with a child with autism, not understanding, not having the patience. It really caused a lot of headache for my son and the mum when she took him there. So I needed to create an environment whereby it was something that could be familiar to them. It was something that wasn't crowded. You know, barbershops are known to be loud. Children with autism, they cannot deal with noise. They cannot deal with noise. So I wanted to put my son and other people like that in an environment where it was comfortable for them, whereby we could give them the same opportunity as everybody else, basically. And it's funny listening to Tatiana's story. You know, it wasn't just about people with autism. It was about everybody who are excluded from society, if you like. You know, because as you know, we've converted an ambulance, which is wheelchair accessible. So you know, people in conditions such as Tatiana now have the opportunity to still have these services available to them without feeling away, you know. So yeah, that was the inspiration. I mean, again, it's not, you can start life with both arms, both legs. We don't know what life brings, you know. So it's not about looking at anybody and judging anybody, because as we've seen in the previous story, life can change at any given moment.
Come on.
So what we've created is the ability to give everybody an opportunity to receive the same service. Now, if anybody has wheelchair bound, we can create an atmosphere whereby we have a part day, and they can get their nails done, get their hair done, and socialize and feel like part of the community. You know. So yeah, these were the reasons that we created the bus in the first place, and we aim to do a lot more. Hopefully, we aim to get into autistic schools, deal with the children in there, because that's a familiar surrounding. That's where they have trust within their teachers, and you know, so many things to do. Agoraphobia, as I said, people that have difficulties leaving their home, difficulty in large surroundings. We can provide the service to all of these people and bring them back into the community and share the information with the community so they can have an understanding and hopefully we can support each other more. We definitely need we need people like T to come on board as well and inspire some people who might be going through their own issues, you know.
Yeah, when I see T's got the red hair, we could just shape her up.
We shape her up now. We shape her up.
Get on the bus. But Ed, tell us, like, where did this idea come from? You actually turning it? Because I'm just going back to. I remember I met you at Oak Kent Road when you was coming. I met you outside 805, and you're like, T, I got the bus, and I'm like, how are you gonna do this? Like, you know, where did this you know, and I said to you straight away, that idea has to get trademarked immediately. But where did that inspiration come? I mean, you've already told us, really, basically your child and what have you. But what was the whole thinking behind it? You know, driving up to, I can't remember, you went somewhere at North, picked up the ambulance, and brought it back down to South London.
Yeah, I went up to what was it, Lincolnshire or something like that. There was two reasons, to be honest. I had a shop on Tower Bridge Road.
Okay.
And beautiful shop, everything in there, and the issue with landlords and stuff like that. And I said, I'm never going to pay a landlord rent again. And also, again, that was the second reason, really. Again, my son being in an environment that was uncomfortable for him was uncomfortable for me. And I wanted to create something whereby a father and a son could have a service together without feeling excluded, without feeling, you know, a level of embarrassment, because sometimes it can feel like that, you know. And I also wanted to create something that catered to everybody. I mean, everybody's seen yourself cutting hair on there, able people cutting hair on there. Now it's all about bringing people that actually go into a barbershop is an ordeal for them. It's an ordeal for the parent. It can be that one trip to the shop could be a whole day of just trauma, straight trauma. So I wanted to create an environment where it was just easier for the parent, easier for the young person or child, and have an experience that it's not as daunting to them. You know, as we said in the video there, creating a bus with lights, with things that that appeals to them, you know, that makes them feel comfortable. Because let me tell you now, cutting a child with autistic hair, it can be very challenging. I know for myself, sometimes cutting my son's hair can take an hour, 2 hours, but you have to have the patience. We have to have the patience. We have to have the understanding, and we have to educate other barbers. You know, we have to barbers, hairdressers, because it's not only boys. You know, there are girls there, barbers, hairdressers. We have to educate them and teach them how to deal with certain members of society with these issues. You know, that's where it stems from, really. Just having that inclusion.
Sorry about that. Sorry, I thought I cut you there, but I know on a wider scale, you've actually had talks with some schools,
yes,
with about getting the buses in schools, which I think is again something. You know, when we're talking about being excluded, you know, there's autistic children in schools.
Yes.
As far as I know you can educate me on this subject, but having a bus or having buses, this is what yourself and myself's dream was, to have a fleet of buses, ambulances, because they're ambulances just converted into hair salons in schools. So just let us know where we are with that, how your discussions have gone and are going with the schools at the moment.
Yeah, so I'm talking with a couple of schools now with regards to actually having a bus in the school, because the whole reason of doing that is to provide a service to these young children with autism in a familiar surrounding, in a surrounding that's comfortable to them, because then that gives them less anxiety to deal with, which then makes the day easier for everybody involved. You know, so we're talking to a number of schools, and it's not just about autistic children, although that's the primary focus. You know, normal schools, because we have young people that are engaging in all sorts, and you know, we can be that bridge. We know there's a lot of young people that get in trouble from going to the barbershop. We know things happen at the barbershop. So any of these parents have a level of concern if their child is, you know, not of age, because you know, we know things happen on the streets. So any parent who have concerns, who feel that this will be a benefit to their school, whether it's a special needs school, whether it's a you know, what they call a normal school, we can cater to everybody. You know, again, it doesn't matter if you have, you know, if you're in a wheelchair, if you have mobility concerns, we can cater to everybody, and this is what it's about, the inclusion of all.
This is such an excellent. I know we have a short clip of a mother that has attended the bus, and when I'm saying all these things, we want to grow bigger. You know, we want we would like investors. We want investors. Obviously, myself and Eddie, you know, we started this thing from the concrete, and you know, Ed's had to go back to work now because we haven't had support. Me and him haven't had no support. Obviously, I'm in boxing. Ed is in, I believe, housing, and you know, dreams need help. You know, we can have a dream, but we need support from, you know, local authorities to just help balance this thing out. You know, give people with disabilities an option which doesn't leave them out from society. Gary, let's play that piece of the mother who's actually attended Ed's bus.
Literally,
Our bus.
what you do, you don't understand how much it helps people like me. It's the stigma, you know. We want our children to be accepted as much as possible. And as much as I'm not embarrassed of my son, and I don't wish that he wasn't the way that he is, trying to do basic things like get a haircut can turn into a whole day of trauma and upset for both of us. So having you here, being able to do my boy and for him to be happy and him building up a relationship with his barber, I can't lie, this is dope. And you really need to be out there more, and more mums like me need to be coming here and getting their kids did.
Thank you very much.
Come on. This is Ed. God bless you, my man. And it's one thing I've known about you you got the same vision as me. But we've got our own different goals. But the main goal is actually for the benefit of humanity, really. Yes. Community first and then wider. So these government authorities, I don't know what they're wasting their money on.
Trust me. Trust me. I mean, this idea of us, bringing something to the community and actually helping people in the community, and we're making big steps, but we need that support. We need that support so we can help a lot more people. So government needs to they need to look at what we're really doing, put some funding behind it, and let's support these people, with these vulnerable people, these excluded people from society. Let's support them. Let's give them the help and support they need. And so we can have more cases such as Tatiana. Yes. More people smiling, and also we want to engage some of these. We want to in future hopefully train some of these kids with autism to maybe run their own bus. Because the sky's the limit for all of us. We cannot limit ourselves. And in fact, watching Tatiana earlier has just motivated me even more.
I'm telling
motivated me even more. Now we really have to even work even harder, because that there has shown me that, I've got 2 arms, I've got 2 legs. I can do a lot more. We can do a lot more. There's no waking up tomorrow and saying, you know what, I feel like this today. Let's get up and let's do this.
The Superwoman, she's touched a lot of us this evening.
Super T.
Super T, come on. Ed, it's been great having you on the show. Stay on the line, because we're going to read some of the comments before closing. It's supposed to be an hour show, but we're soon touching an hour 30. We're going into the hour 30 mark, but it's needed. Wow. It's needed. 2 great stories this evening. Highlighting, really just talking about the positive things, and really just slightly touching on the fact that these people are being excluded. We've just touched that lightly, and how maybe we can deal with it. Tatiana spoke about the restaurants, the accessibility for disabled people, and there definitely needs to be something or some more improvement to that. Again, when I speak about the government, we know there's a lot of things that the government do, but they can do more. There's a lot of areas where money goes, which I feel if you were more probably in touch with the certain real people that are being affected, then once there are people in that community that are willing to put their time and effort into helping and making the situation better, I think the government will definitely get more support. But right now, you have people who are looking at it as that they're not putting the money in the right places. So supporting causes like this, helping people like Tatiana, I just think it's a great thing. It's a great thing. Big up Philip Belgrave. Thank you, Dottie Girl, for the £5. Well done, Tunde, for facilitating these very important discussions. Thank you. And thank you, as always, for supporting us verbally and financially, because nothing ain't free. You just heard the kind of money Tatiana needs for 2 arms. We're not even touching on the legs yet. 100K is needed for 2 arms. And then we're going into 20s and 30s for the legs. So, and in the meantime, she has to keep this positive mindset, which she's had to develop, because she said it was very hard at the beginning. So again, I thank you, Ed, for coming on the show, sharing your story, and it's been a great show. I actually am going to end the show as I do every week. No, you know what? Let me read a few comments because a few people on there have made some good suggestions. Let me
hold on, Tun. We've got to get T on the bus. You've got
100%. We've got the information. Tatiana, you're getting your next trim. Just holler. Just holler, Tatiana. We got you. You're on that bus, and we'll get the cameraman round. Vanessa saying she gave £10, but it never came up. What's going on? What kind of computer are you using? You can't be using no ZX81 or Atari, Vanessa. Old school. you got to come move with the times. But did you do it on a GoFundMe or this particular? That's the thing. If you done it on the GoFundMe, it wouldn't have come up. But if you done it on the super chats, then I don't see why it never came up. But regardless, let's read some of these comments. Gary, if you can see any before I do. Okay, what was this? This is good evening, Tunde. Big up Miss Small. She said, good. I'm trying to send money for Tati's GoFundMe. It's not allowing me to send money. I'm new to this. We'll keep trying. Okay, I don't know. Not too sure about that, but yeah, keep trying. Maybe you've sorted it since you've left that message. You also say that this talk time is very close to my heart. I could talk on this all night and day. Come on, the platform is yours. Don't be shy. Because you know what? I got a lot of friends as well that I grew up with. I mean, real friends. Vanessa, me and her were talking for like an hour and a half on this subject. I'm like, V, come on the thing. V's like, no, I'm not coming on. But, it's a subject close to a lot of people's heart. And, if you don't want to show your face, if you don't want to be heard, then just put your comments in the comment section and I'll do my best to read them out. My mastery, patience is the key. I've got known as the specialist driving instructor for people with autism. I learned so much about the condition just by learning how to teach them through their eyes. Beautiful journey. Huh. Yes, Ed. Maybe you could touch on that. The eye contact with autistic children is very important.
100%. 100%. They're all constantly looking at you for. Listen, those who deal with it, they know. And also, I want to shout out to all the young children that are carers. I want to give a shout out to all the young children that are carers because they are unsung heroes. They do a lot and deal with a lot, and still have to cope with the pressures of school, friends, and when all their friends are playing out, they're at home taking care of their brother, their mother, whoever it is. My eldest, she's a star when it comes to looking after her brother. I mean, she puts in so much work. I'm just so proud of her, to the point that even when I'm a little bit annoyed with her, I have to just smile because the things you have to take on and handle, it's amazing. So all the young carers out there, round of applause to you all. Much love.
Thank you. Master Lawrence, he said, it's about coming together as a community, especially if you have your own business. How can you serve the vulnerable in the community and how you can serve the vulnerable? Agreed. Ed's showing you. Vanessa Powell, autistic children need people who have patience, time, and understanding. And again, we've demonstrated that. And Tatiana's carer, Kemi, you don't have to be qualified per se, but you need to have patience, time, and understanding to, take on what another person is going through. So God bless everyone who's doing that for somebody. Yes. Miss Small, I think I'll read a few more comments. It's very hard to be positive when discussing this matter. What with how society views people with disabilities and the huge budget cuts for children, adult services leaves a lot of people isolated. It's facts. These are facts. Again, another one from My Marshy. She says, I masked my ADHD for such a long time due to judgment and misunderstanding. Again, I was blessed with some great mentors in my adult life who helped me so much growing up. A lot of people had no patience, and that's a lot of things. What people have been saying. You know, a lot of these kids, a lot of our kids, they're being treated and branded. You don't know that there's things which are now being found out. So the teachers, they have to have that main skill, patience. You know, try to understand what is actually going on, and don't exclude children from certain things that happen. Videos. The Mayor Raras 27 said, I absolutely love this idea. Bobby Wright, big up Bobby, beautiful. Videos to view, fantastic idea. I remember the schools had a buses show up once a week, and it provided an enjoyable experience with a lounge space, a nice selection of shiny new books with your classmate. These are things, you know, which help. You know, don't exclude people. Vanessa, again, my nephew is autistic with very little awareness, so I will walk out in the middle of the road and will have massive breakdowns in supermarkets. People and society can be so unkind, and that's the thing, you know, where there has to be. That's why we're making this thing aware. There has to be awareness that people are going through stuff. You can't just be shouting at people. You know, everybody's got a story, and there's something. Sometimes there's an underlining issue going on that we can't visibly see with our eyes. So yeah, this is deep. Dotty girl, I've had that. Thank you for the £5. It's shocking amount of time that staff receive for send training. Most learn on the job, says Small. Because I guess there's got to be training as well. Yeah. You know, there has to be some form of training. Otherwise, again, you're just gonna have people just losing their temper, not realizing what's going on. JJ1, I'm going to read this comment. He says, from this live stream, you can observe a lot. The fact that there's only 38 viewers and most are ladies makes this about some nonsensical topic. This would be packed with men and women and all the others. Interesting. Well, listen, who's ever here is here. Whoever's not here, they will catch it on the rebound. Consistency important to autistic children. Marcia Lawrence, she says, and these are people that I know that are, you know, they won't come on, but they're saying their piece. The teachers have to have a duty of care to the children and also work with outside agencies to serve the development of children and young people.
Yes.
Great point. Well, listen, the two main stories of Talk Time with Tunde really encapsulated the whole show, Ed. You know, a show of courage, strength, positivity. Also, there were a lot of lessons in there. A highlight for me was the fact that Tatiana, like many of us, traveled without taking malaria tablets. Nobody, including Tatiana, thought this would ever happen. And it's only her mental strength and her outlook that has made her deal with the outcomes of that easier, a day-to-day thing. But please, check online, as Tatiana said, check online. Make sure when you travel, you do ever, when they say recommended, take it. That was what Tatiana got. See that line there? That one got me. If they say recommended, just take it. Take it. You know, and so there's a lot of lessons to be learned. I will now end the show with something that I wrote, as I'd always do. Everyone knows at the end of every show, I say my piece. But this is something that I took from different excerpts, and it goes like this. I believe the answer is rooted in the community, and I believe we can create that community right here on this platform. There is something so powerful about community, because in community, you feel connected. You feel like you belong. and you feel empowered. All of us just want to be seen, and we want to be heard, and we want to be valued. If you break life back down to its basic essence and desire, there is one blinding truth, and that truth is we are all the same. We're all the same in this desire through our human connection with each other. They say teamwork makes dreams work. So whatever team you say you're on, let us all join in one team. The one team that no longer excludes anyone with disabilities from society. Not just my society, not just your society, but our society. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining us. Brilliant, 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 brilliant show. It's been amazing. And again, thank you, Tatiana. Thank you, Ed. Thank you all for joining us. And no doubt you will see us next week on Talk Time with Tunde.
Love.
Love.